This Risk map is based on the United States of America, if you already couldn't tell from the showcased regions and the shape of the map. This is another 6-player fixed card game and I'm the red player in this game. And I think my choice this time seems to be pretty obvious. I will be going for the Mid-Atlantic region on the top made from the 2 territories. And I doubt someone will ruin my plan. I don't think it would be very wise for the blue player to contest for it with me, with him having only 2 troops in it while I even 6, and then I think that would be weird for the purple player to crush my 6 troops as well when there are bigger armies of other players' troops. So I'm just not sure what is the green player's plan, whether he will go for the New England, the region above me, or for the bigger region below me, the Appalachian Highlands. And then the yellow player seems to be going for the Midwest, the region next to me on the left. But hopefully we all be good friendly neighbors, including the purple player who added his troops to the very top territory and is going to go for the New England region. And as you can see, this was finally the time when I captured the Mid-Atlantic region. Got in my first turn, so I'm actually very happy about it, even if it won't be giving me that many of troops. But at least I think I should be able to hold it and get some extra troops to not be in a huge disadvantage against others. And after me capturing a region, that was obviously the time to execute my second plan, which is to send the alliance requests to everyone, so they would be attacking each other while leaving me alone and letting me either expand or just simply turtle. But this time unfortunately it wasn't supposed to work so easily how I was expecting for it to work. As with the green player declining my alliance request, I've got bad vibes and thought that he actually might intend to go for the same region as me. And this is what unfortunately happened. The green player invaded me without even being able to wipe me out, and will basically make both of us lose the game. At the end it wouldn't even really matter which one of us two would prevail, as either the purple or yellow players would eat us. So basically that fight would end up with the region being cleared out for the third player. So because of that I decided to be smarter than the green player and just simply decided to let him take over it, moving my troops out. There were actually a few different choices what to do with these troops. I could have left them there adding my new troops on the continent at the bottom, but then I think the green player would have just simply crushed them, and I would rather prefer my troops in a few different places of the map, as otherwise I could become a very easy target to be taken out, and while I still could because I'm weak, I wouldn't be that much accessible or suitable as in being one place, so it might be a little of a progressive card game for me until I trade in my set. Then I could have moved out my troops one territory upper next to purple, but then the purple player would have crushed them, and like said, leaving my troops where they are would have been crushed by green, as he already showed that he doesn't hesitate to waste his troops at all by invading me into that continent before, so I don't really think that the green player understands that by wasting a lot of troops on someone when there are a lot of other players' troops around, he is just clearing out that continent to one of these players. So most likely for purple, like if taking a look the position-wise. Though the purple player has to be careful as well, as the yellow player already has a continent with a pretty good established position, so he has to think twice before making any riskier moves, as otherwise the yellow player could really take over the whole upper right side with the 3 continents. So then it might be more of a question whether the blue and pink players would be enemies with each other or differently, allies, and would seek to invade yellow with him really expanding. And talking about allies, this time unfortunately I've got only one of them despite me sending the alliance requests to everyone. Though on the other hand, while the pink player is my only ally, I don't think that others are enemies for me either. I think they are mostly neutral, and as long as I don't get in their way or become very weak, I should be good. So the only person who could be considered as enemy right now is obviously green, but honestly I think he is just obsessed with that region he invaded me into. To be honest, I don't think he would be a really problematic player for me, so as long as I don't go for a continent next to him. Also, in the beginning of the game the blue player crushed my army of 3 troops, but that was obviously because he wanted to move out from the yellow player's continent and move his army closer towards the Pacific coast on the left. So currently I don't really afraid of any players targeting me. Well, it might be strange to say, the pink player might be threatening the most, because a little earlier he intended to go for southeast, the region I'm currently building my army to, but one thing is that the blue player could potentially cause him some tension of being a neighboring player, and another thing is that the pink player is my ally after all, but I mean when you're weak you are not really needed as an ally to anyone, but I don't know, low-ranked players could tend to take your alliance very seriously. Also, the purple player would have been very threatening for sure as well if he had wiped out the green player from those regions at the top before the green player traded in a set. To be honest, I'm not sure why the purple player didn't wipe out the green player next to him while the green player only had 8 troops, as now with the purple player crushing his 8 troops, there is another army of 8 troops left as well, so basically twice as many troops will be wasted. Though maybe he was afraid of the yellow player before, but now since the yellow player disconnected and became a bot, the purple player shouldn't really much worry about the yellow bot attacking him anymore. So maybe makes sense. Though on the other hand I don't know whether low-ranked players realize when someone disconnects and becomes a bot or not, or even if they understand, if they still treat them as real opponents or not. Also, before the yellow player disconnecting, I might have really liked the pink and blue players fighting each other over being friendly neighbors and turtling. But now after the yellow player disconnected I'm not so sure anymore, as because if the pink player takes over the whole left side himself, then nobody will be really able to fight him without self-destroying themselves. So hopefully it will take some time for the pink player to deal with blue if he's serious about it. But honestly, the situation couldn't have gotten any worse with the green player crushing his troops into the purple player and being left with 2 troops and 2 free cards for the pink player, as even if the blue player had taken out green himself, he still wouldn't have been able to trade in a set in the same turn and would have been taken out by the pink player with those cards anyway. I mean, the pink player is fully taking out the blue player right now, right? Not leaving him with a few territories or troops so he could potentially retaliate if having a set at 3 cards. And yeah, with the pink player successfully making it, all my hopes to win this game have been lost now. Unless maybe like the yellow bot invades him. But honestly, the bots are usually focusing on the weakest players from that I could tell based on my experience. And obviously the pink player is smart to guard the most vulnerable border when it comes to the yellow bot. Honestly, I could invade the pink player by myself, either going easy and invading into one continent into the border with 1 troop, or going hard and invading him through all of his continents but at the same time wasting tons of troops. But if becoming enemies with pink, at both of those cases would have meant the game being lost for me, the pink player would have destroyed me next. Or even if with me getting extremely lucky blitz rolls crushing his troops and preventing him getting a very strong position, then the purple player might have gotten a very good position. But wasting my troops on the pink player, whether getting good or bad blitz rolls, would have made me barely alive anyway. So I decided to stay friends with the pink player and hope for the best. But I guess goodbye cruel world, because the pink player will take me out. Oh well. At least from the diplomacy standpoint I tried my best. But oh wait, he just took down an army of the yellow player troops. And in fact might be even guarding my border against him, but not sure. Either way, I'm happy to survive and stay alive, at least as of now. So let's continue executing my plan on pretending to be his best ally ever, encouraging attacks myself, despite barely surviving. I mean, that's the only hope for me in the purple player. If the pink player makes a rookie mistake and wastes all of his troops, advantage on the yellow bot might even completely taking him out. Otherwise we have like literally 0 chances to win this game. So the pink player might be better blundering. Like look, he is getting 15 troops per turn and that's just insane. So he might be better crushing at least one of the bigger yellow player stacks. But yeah. The pink player just obviously went for another continent, attacking the yellow bot only for that. So honestly I think the second place is the most I could expect to. as that's assuming the pink player being my ally would take me out the last. But I mean, for now I will just continue enjoying the game no matter which way it is going to end. I'm just having a moment. I mean, while I lost all the hopes to win this game, I still enjoy being the pink player's ally and him not invading me, letting me hold this continent, despite the most reasonable choice for the pink player being to completely take me out, or at the very least to invade me. But the pink player seems to be my loyal buddy. And who knows, he might still decide to take the yellow bot out after hoarding a bit of more troops. What I've been thinking about is unleashing the purple player's biggest army, so with that there would be a chance that he would go for a rampage going through all of the pink player's continents, even if he probably will self-destroy himself. But while I had this in mind, I decided to not go with it, to not unleash the purple player's army, because I think the purple player could have potentially misinterpreted it, and by seeing that I'm targeting the territories of him, to self-destroy himself on me. So I just decided to put all my hopes in the pink player over attacking the yellow bot. But looking to this game again, I think I should have really gone with the strategy to unleash the purple player's biggest army towards my continent, so by going through it, he would reach one of the weaker pink player's borders, and with that would invade him into all of the continents. The sooner I would have done it, the better it would have been. And I mean, that's very clear that the pink player isn't seriously attacking yellow, and with that just slowly expanding for a guaranteed win to not blunder this game in some way. Though I will say he is way too passive, and I couldn't actually believe that he didn't easily get rid of me back then, or even is not attacking me now. But I mean, he is a good lad and takes our alliance very seriously, and I really appreciate it. Though I would betray him any decent moment I would get. As I mean, this alliance is not mutually beneficial, with the pink player being the strongest dominating player and with me the weakest barely surviving player with no good position. So it's not really a serious alliance, but more of the pink player playing with his food, or I mean, he just tries being nice and tries to secure his ally the second place, and only looks forward to attacking him after he finally deals with all of the rest opponents, whether they're bots or humans. And alright, with the purple player combining his armies into one, and fortifying that army outside of his continents, leaving them completely unguarded, that could only mean one of the two things. The purple player either plans to break through one of the pink player's borders and invade him into all of his continents, or another option is that the purple player is just done with this game and will just take me out before leaving. But I hope for the best. I captured one more territory, further crushing an army of the yellow player's troops, so the purple player going through my continent wouldn't unleash my army towards himself, so that he would feel more safe going through my continent, assuming he intends to invade the pink player but not self-destroy himself on me. But as we can see, the purple player actually intended to invade the pink player, and this is what he finally did, so I kinda regret of not unleashing the purple player's army back then when I had been thinking about it and had the opportunity to do so for a few turns. That's actually very amazing news for me. I'm happy that the purple player got the attacker's advantage of crushing one of the pink player's army, and what I'm even more happy about is that the pink player has just wasted even 12 troops when taking down one of the yellow player's armies just to invade a continent which is worth of 2 troops and which would have probably been invaded by the same yellow bot anyway. So that was kinda waste of troops for the pink player, but despite that the pink player still looks very strong. Taking a look at the troops counter, the most promising thing of them all is that the pink player used his smaller army to retake the continents the purple player invaded, and then still left his biggest army blocked from the purple player. So because of that, the purple player can still continue attacking the pink player, and with that minimizing the troops difference among us. Well, not anymore actually. With me saying that, the purple player unleashed the pink player's army towards himself, and I think the pink player will obviously crush his biggest army. So I think we will have to say a bye-bye for the purple player. And I cannot actually believe that the purple player missed that aspect. Like, the reason I didn't attack the pink player after he was invaded by purple is because the pink player's army was unleashed and very close towards me, so that wasn't something I would have wanted to risk, especially when the purple player was able to do all of the dirty work for both of us alone. It's always good to let another player do the dirty work for you if possible. And obviously another thing you should have in mind, is that if you're in strong alliance with a player who really takes your alliance seriously, and then you suddenly betray him, then that could be likely that that player will want to get rid of you more than anyone else, and if he got extremely mad, then just might want to completely self-destroy himself on you, so keep that in mind and think twice before betraying such an ally. Before doing that, you want that as many of his troops would be wasted on attacking other players. Like if I had attacked the pink player before him crushing the biggest purple's army, then that would have been unknown whether he would have prioritized crushing me or the purple player, while sticking in the alliance with the pink player up until he crushed the biggest purple army. Guaranteed for me that I won't be the biggest loser in this situation whether I win in this fight with the pink player in the endgame or not. The purple player actually decided his fate by himself back then when he unleashed the pink player's biggest army towards himself. That was very obvious that the pink player was going to crush him. But I mean really all the props to him by getting out of his continent and being brave to invade the pink player to potentially save the game. So the purple player really played like a hero there and I'm proud of him. He really showed us a winner mentality of never giving up and trying the best no matter how tough the situation is, rather than self-destroying himself on someone or simply quitting the game. So props to him again for that. Anyway, it really looks that I'm dominating in this endgame with the pink player. At first I doubted whether it would be a good decision to take out the purple player or not. But I mean his 5 cards combined with my 3 meant me trading in 2 sets at once plus getting a lot of territories in general. Plus that guaranteed that he wouldn't make a comeback, as I mean while I and the pink player would have been fighting each other, he would have been able to stay neutral and rebuild his troops again. So I cannot actually be any happier of my decision to take the purple player out, as it really worked out the best in the endgame with my beloved pink player, who was honestly a very good ally, and that was very sad to betray him at the end, but I took the purple player out before attacking him, and to attack the yellow bot before dealing with him would have been a plainly dumb decision. So if I want to win the game, then I have to do what's in my best interest. So like right now I prioritized leaving the pink player's territories, which would have been the most accessible to the yellow bot, so in case I wouldn't have been successful to take the pink player out, then the yellow bot would have finished him, and the pink player wouldn't have been able to retaliate. And I mean it couldn't be more easier to deal with the bots after you deal with your real opponents. After the yellow player disconnected, it was supposed to be the expert, the hardest difficulty bot, but as you can see it let me hold multiple unguarded continents and have tons of territories in general, letting me receive this sweet extra insane troop bonus. So I would always rather fight a bot in the endgame rather than any human opponent, even if that person is a new to the game novice. And now for another non-classical map I would recommend you watching this video as well. That's another interesting game with a lot of interesting attacks, diplomacy, and strategy. So make sure to check this one out as well.